Sometimes I think back to when I first started drawing and how I would crank out multiple pieces every single day. They weren't amazing, obviously, but there were a lot of drawings, and it was a lot of fun. Nowadays, I can take several days to finish one fully rendered piece, like this one, which took about 26 hours to do total, or this one, which took at least 30 hours. I mean, his jacket alone took approximately 4 hours. Of course, that was during some growing pains in my art style, but still. Even less complex pieces like this one can take around 18 hours. I tend to not post works in progresses or plain sketches, mostly because I usually end up fully rendering them. All that said, I don't really post that much to my socials. Obviously, the more your skills develop, the longer it might take you to draw. Once you're in a position to start doing complex pieces, you'll find it more time consuming. And with commissions or character references or pieces that are really important to you, you're obviously going to take your time and avoid rushing. But I can't help noticing that this can create a sort of trap that artists often fall into. I know I have over the years, and that trap is called perfectionism. I'm Benji, or Benny. I'm a self-taught digital artist. I don't have an introduction video yet for this channel because I wanted to build up a queue of videos before I start uploading. But Art Fight this year has me thinking about this topic a lot, and I kind of just wanted to make this video before I don't know, lose the motivation to do it. Right now, I'm experiencing a flare-up in my chronic pain, and I kind of just need a distraction and a break from art, so I'm gonna yap over an old stream of a commission. Apologies beforehand if I sound like an awkward dork. That's because I am one, and also I haven't sat down and recorded myself talking to no one since my journalism days, and I am going to tell you right now, it was a very different experience. We will worry about talking about that in a different video. Something I've been aware of since probably 2020 or around that year is that I don't like to post works in progresses, which I'm just going to call whips from now on, or sketches. I don't like posting them. If I do post something that isn't fully rendered, semi-realistic, my usual style, I'm quick to slap a bunch of disclaimers on it to make sure that you know that this is an unfinished piece that isn't my usual art style. It's like I'm worried that my art will somehow escape my tiny sphere that is my audience of like 10 people total, most of which are my friends and my sister. And strangers will end up seeing it and be like, that's the only art style this guy has, and he doesn't know how to draw. I know that's not an unreasonable series of events, and I'm sure it happens all the time, but I don't know why I would care that much if I already have a bunch of polished pieces published, right? Like many artists, I hold myself to unreasonable standards. The truth is that artists post their whips and their sketches to their social media all the time. In fact, sometimes the unfinished art gets more attention than the finished product. I've heard a lot of bigger artists lament over that. I don't really experience it because, again, I don't really have an audience. I think part of it has to do with the algorithm, but I think the other part is that people really enjoy seeing the artistic process. Plus, sometimes the sketches just look really cool, and then you like the post, and then you forget to check back about the finished product, so it just kind of doesn't work out. I have been posting art online since I was around 11 or 12. Started on good old DeviantArt. It was hellscape back then too, trust and believe. Now it's just oversaturated with AI sloppage, but my point is, I've posted art of varying quality for years. It wasn't super popular, and I wasn't super popular, but my stats were alright. Considering my art level and how cringe it was, I did alright. I posted a lot of sketches, and I posted regularly. Often I would post multiple times a day because I would draw multiple times a day, and it wouldn't be very high quality, but I would post a lot. Nowadays, I upload stuff every so often when I have a finished product, something that's more polished, something that I'm really proud of, and it gets very little engagement. To be very clear, I am not whining about that because I understand that I am the problem. I'm just comparing as an example. I don't post regularly, and that's the problem. I'm not engaging with the community. Yeah, that gets harder to do when you get older and you have more to worry about than high school. But even with all that taken into consideration, I do a pretty piss poor job of being active on social media. I attribute that mostly to my fear of being perceived, which I want to save that discussion for a different video. All I'll say is that I'm a very shy, introverted guy, and I've never been excited at the thought of fame in any capacity. I keep to myself. I mind my business. I have a small group of very close friends. Any content I post online, I tend to just post it and fuck off. I don't like reading comments. I like to read the tags on Tumblr when I post to my Red Dead Tumblr, but I don't like interacting with comments. I can't take a compliment to save my life. I'm awkward, and I hate that fake social media personality that I often feel like we're all tempted to take on when we start to gain any sort of traction. And to avoid all of that, I just keep to myself. I honestly didn't really post anywhere except for Tumblr and Twitter, which I think I stopped posting to Twitter in 2023 after whenever the takeover happened. I'm still active on Tumblr though. These last few years, I would say starting in 2024, but becoming probably more of a priority in 2025. I've been trying to branch out, posting more on different platforms like Blue Sky, Kara, Sheezy, TikTok, barely. Now YouTube, even Reddit occasionally, even though half of those posts always flop. Like the one time that I tried to gush on r/wow about this World of Warcraft commission I did, because I have no WoW friends. None of my friends like WoW. And it got like 12 upvotes. I made another Twitter that I don't post to. I have a link tree. I've been playing around with the idea of making a website or like some sort of hosted site that I could use as a portfolio, even though that's basically what DeviantArt has become to me now, because I don't treat it like a social platform the way I used to. I just post and then link to my other stuff and hope people will join me elsewhere. I just don't like DeviantArt anymore. I have a VGen where I take my commissions, and despite all that, and despite posting what I'm proud of or what I enjoy or what makes me laugh, I don't get a lot of engagement. Now, before I continue, I just want to sidebar and say I probably don't get a lot of engagement because I tend to post a lot of original character content. I don't do a lot of fan art anymore. I used to do fan art a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean more than I do now. I've never really been huge in fan art. I will sometimes draw like other people's characters, but I am not a big fan art guy anymore, and I kind of want to get back into it. It's just I have so many ideas and I have so many things I want to do for my original characters, and I know original characters are never going to be as popular as canon characters that have been established already. So I will acknowledge that before I continue the video, and I will say like any original character content is not going to do as well as fan art or like fan content, if that makes sense. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that stats are the end-all be-all for an artist. Personally, I'm apathetic towards stats. I don't like to check them unless it's brought to my attention in some way, like I get a notification or somebody sends me a screenshot or something, or I have to check it. I draw what I want because I want to. I draw what I enjoy, not because I want 1,000 reposts or 1 million likes. I'm not a huge fan of social media and the grind that it encourages. I like being able to talk about my interests, and I like being able to gush about my characters, even if it is to the void, even if I'm talking to a brick wall. However, I'm not going to lie to you and say that stats and engagement aren't important, when you're an artist running commissions. Engagement is the bread and butter for artists, especially if you're looking for commissions or you're trying to make a living on platforms like YouTube or TikTok or, places like that, like Twitch, whatever. That's the point in posting there. I may not be monetized, but I can tell you that anyone who is monetized isn't posting purely for the love of the game, even if that's a huge motivation for them. Why am I talking about all this when I was discussing perfectionism? If you're going to stick around for a while, you'll find out I tend to ramble, even if I write a script, but also because it's hard to get engagement when you're so focused on perfecting every little detail of a drawing before posting it. And that can take you days or weeks to get around to throwing it on social media. Personally, I feel that my desire to only post the best of the best is holding me back. This is something that I realized during Art Fight this year, that I have been so afraid of just doing quick, simple, easy art and then posting it. I have inadvertently trained myself to carefully curate what I post, and I hold myself to a standard that I wouldn't hold anybody else to. It's okay to experiment with styles and post art that might be a little more janky or rough around the edges. It's okay to post a sketch. It's okay to post silly, jokey art. It's okay to post a whip. And in the context of Art Fight, most people are just going to be happy to receive anything as long as you put clear effort into it. In the context of social media, people are happy to see you engaging with the platform, and in turn, the algorithm is more likely to work in your favor. The reason this year's Art Fight made me think on this topic in specific is because I got, frankly, an ungodly amount of attacks. Maybe not the most, but around 30, including revenges. This is my third year on Art Fight. I got 22 attacks on my first year, and then 18 on my second year. People who've been on Art Fight longer than a year or two tend to see that downward trend unless they have a large presence or a lot of art friends. And while most of my friends are artsy, I neither have a lot of them nor a large presence. I did post a bit to the Art Fight subreddit this year, so maybe I advertised a little too hard. Not that I would ever complain, because frankly I love interacting with new artists, and I've been having a lot of fun with the conversations about our characters and seeing all the amazing talent that others have. It's my favorite event. Like, this and Christmas are like my two favorite things that happen in the year. Like, I don't know, chronically unemployed moments. I just didn't expect it, to the point that I even had a very large hit list planned out to try and put out feelers and stuff in the hopes of getting a few revenges back this year. In order to keep up this year, since my drawing process has slowed down quite a bit even since 2025, I've been doing simpler pieces like stylized chibis and busts. Some are animated, because for some reason I decided to choose Art Fight of all times to try my hand at it, but they're still really simple. After like the 22nd or 23rd revenge, I was looking over all my attacks and I was like, I feel really bad because so many of them are just like chibis. And my thought process was like, these people probably followed me or attacked me for my main art style, not to be victims of me experimenting with chibis. So is it really fair to skimp out like that? I was thinking about it, and I just kind of like had my little aha moment. I have gotten no complaints about my revenges or my attacks, and everyone seems to really like what they've gotten so far. Maybe they're not perfect pieces, whatever. I seem to be the only one who cares as much as I do. If I want to participate in this event the way I want to, I can't default to my usual style for every single piece, because that's going to take me hours, and not everybody's going to get revenged. And if I'm being honest, some of the characters are going to be really difficult to translate into a semi-realistic style. There's just literally no reason to not just have fun and do simpler pieces so that everyone gets something in return, because this is an event, it's free, and it's just for fun. It reminds me of that meme of the guy who's like, Oh man, that guy's cake looked way better than mine. And then the next panel is some dude frothing at the mouth going, "Oh boy, 2 cakes!" That's generally the best way I can sum up how I feel about this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you need to post more frequently without having to worry about perfecting every single little detail. This applies to me too. We need to allow ourselves to share works in progresses, sketches, experimental pieces. These things will help boost engagement, and then it'll help us engage with the community, and in turn the algorithm will move in favor of you, but it'll also help you overcome this self-imposed idea that you need to post only the best of the best. And again, this applies to me too, and we'll see if I can follow my own advice, but I know just as well as you guys, it's not going to be easy. Anyways, I guess that's all I really wanted to say. I know this isn't a revolutionary video. I know a lot of people probably have come to this realization of their own and made their own videos or discussions about it, but I just thought that it was something that was worth talking about, and Art Fight is a great time to discuss it because a lot of people will get a lot of attacks and then they'll feel bad because they can't revenge back because they want to take their time to do their pieces, and I think that's fine. I also think it's okay to do less polished pieces. Let everybody have a slice of the cake, you know what I mean? Thanks for listening. Sorry if my editing skills aren't great. I'm still learning. The program that I use is free. It's not great. I always feel like the cuts are like a microsecond off because the program's really laggy, but I plan on posting more art-related long-form content like speed paints, discussions, a few how-tos. I know like my art isn't the best. Some people have asked me about like how I do hair and how I render skin and shade and whatever, so I thought it would be fun to do a few videos about that. I also want to post original character lore and content, fan art, just, you know, art-related stuff that I have an interest in. My next video will probably be my channel introduction video, and then maybe a breakdown of one of my processes, like how I render skin, probably will be the first one. I'm not sure when that will be posted, but I'll start working on things in August after Art Fight. So if that interests you, feel free to stick around. Thanks for listening. If you watched this far, I'm curious to hear the comments if you got any interesting revelations or takeaways from Art Fight this year, if you participated. If you already post your whips and your sketches and engage heavily in art spaces, I would also be curious about how you find that experience and if you found the same benefits that I discussed. If you do, let me know what platforms you predominantly post on for context, so I kind of have an idea of how each platform works in terms of algorithm. I think this would just be a nice opportunity for us all to learn from each other. Okay, bye.